Loves. I did watch the last video back and it's not too jumbled. It makes a lot of sense. I did draw you a little picture. Okay, we have Yeshua. Let me see if I can put this here. We have Yeshua, right? This is the flour, the bulk of the bagel. This is the water. You see how it spreads out over both sides? The Holy Spirit, I'm sorry, but water and Holy Spirit spreads out over both sides of wisdom. Wisdom is that salt and sugar, okay? Wisdom, Holy Spirit, Yeshua. We see how, if we're thinking in terms of Ummah, Yeshua is the largest Ummah. It's very all encompassing despite it being conditional. Holy Spirit is a smaller section, but again, it's unconditional love. We can only have so much of the unconditional love. People sometimes want to think, oh, water is all there is. We can only have so much water. If we had everything water and unconditional love, no matter what, we would all be drowned. Okay. And then we have wisdom as the salt and sugar. So, just to give you an idea, this is the perfect bagel. This is how you make the perfect bagel. We have some eggs, perhaps, as knowledge of good and evil to bind all of these ingredients together. Okay, this is where we're at now. So, we have this wisdom. Wisdom is here. Wisdom is here. Okay, it's mainly salt and sugar. We have again the same component of Holy Spirit of water in the bagel. And then Yeshua is this small little segment here of flour. So we can see that if our bagel was mainly salt or sugar, and then we have a little water and some tiny bit of flour, we can understand how that is going to not bind as well with those eggs of good and evil, and it will mess up the recipe and be unpalatable, right? We can't eat something like that. And maybe there is a recipe that's salt and sugar. If it was all sugar, perhaps it wouldn't be so bad, but like think about just eating something so salty. That's how that tastes, okay? And again, this is the love that is primarily dominating our world, but it is shifting, okay? We're shifting into something that looks like this, that perfect bagel. And again, with the notion of, well, it takes as long as it takes for us to get here. Okay, that's what's happening. Okay, we're here. Everybody wants wisdom. Everybody wants that forbidden knowledge. Everybody wants to partake in that fruit of wisdom just to become a god themselves and to become so wise. But because everybody is so focused on that, it makes these groups really hard to proliferate. Okay, so again, we see the difference. We see the difference. Okay, something I want to make clear among these three groupings, right? These are groupings that are not limited to race, okay? They're not limited like, oh, if you're this person, you are automatically here. No, anybody can be a member of Yeshua. Men, woman, child, angel, okay? Anybody can be a member of Yeshua. Anybody can be a member of Holy Spirit, okay? Anybody can be a member of wisdom. It does not matter what you look like. It does not matter your sexual orientation. It does not matter, where what your background is or what your family is. Okay, that's what makes the book of life so beautiful, is because we encompass everybody of all different types in these different groups. It is a very large understanding that Yeshua in this perfect bagel, right, is the largest group, okay, because he encompasses those who might not be sure if they are Holy Spirit or wisdom, or if they are Yeshua. So Yeshua guides them to be in the right spot or to stay within this Ummah, right, to stay within the Ummah, dependent on those conditions that we discussed. If you're an abuser, and if you're, abuser of anything, abuser of people, animals, money, okay, it's very, very hard to stay in this group unless you are suffering yourself. That's not to say that this group is only people with a victim mentality. That's not to say that, okay, we are also warriors. This is the line of David. So we're also warriors. We are kings. Okay, this is a very strong group as well. Holy Spirit, again, Holy Spirit is cleanliness, purity. It's unconditional love for everybody. So there is, a big, that's why it surrounds wisdom, because it does take a lot of wisdom to be a part of this group of the Holy Spirit. Unconditional love, energy, encompassing things living and non-living. Okay, Holy Spirit is cleanliness, purity, excuse me, prophetic word. Okay, prophetic word. Okay, think John the Baptist, right? Think of Prophet Muhammad, the last prophet. Think of that group. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Um, wisdom. Okay, we understand wisdom group. Again, very narrow, very selective. There are very few people that actually fit into this group. Okay, this is like when you're thinking of wisdom, these are like your godlike beings, right? You understand God, you understand man, right? And you strive to be in that position, right? In that position. So sometimes it's a double-edged sword because a lot of people think that they're there and they're in that position and it's obtainable, which it is. But again, you are having to actually come face to face with the creator of the entire bagel. Okay, when you're actively a part of the bagel, we're a part of this earth, right? We are a part of this earth. We are on this plane. So it's hard to maybe come to terms with the actual creator of the bagel. But there are a very select group of people. This is a very special ummah. Okay, this is an ummah that leads the enlightenment theory, that leads the world transformation theories. Many great leaders and great wisdom people belong in this group. So what did I say was part of the issue, though, is that a lot of people think that they are part of this group currently, right? Presently, right now. A lot of people are taking up this position, right? They want that challenge of coming face to face with the creator and having their terms be reckoned. But it's a little bit risky, right? Because what happens when this group is too full? God cannot eat the bagel, so we have to like this needs to go in the hole, okay? And there needs to be some rediscovery, right? Rediscovery. So we can think of a lot of current world leaders that are in this group, right? A lot of people with a lot of money are holding up a lot of the real estate in this group, thinking that they are godlike, thinking that they are, all knowing, when they would actually do very well in this group here, right? They want this position. They want this position. So it's like a migration of Ummah. So what happens, right, is you're born with a specific role in this world, right? You're born with a very hefty dose of spirit. If your spirit from past lives is primarily wisdom, you're likely going to stay within this Ummah. If something happened in one of your lives where it just did not work out, you can actually move Ummahs, right? You can move into a different Ummah, right? After your life or even midway through your life. But again, if you're born with your spirit energy very highly, always all your past lives are in this Holy Spirit energy, you're likely going to stay in that Holy Spirit energy. Same with Yeshua. If you're like very keen on the line of David, right? If you're very keen or somehow just, not too sure, it's a very large group, right? Line of David comes from Judah. That's the largest tribe of Israel. So that's why it's larger. If you're here, right? If you're here, you're likely going to stay here in many of your lives, okay? But that's not to say that you can't partake and play in these roles, because many of the people in Yeshua, again, have lived a lot of lives, a lot of different variations, and have actually participated in these groups, and possibly vice versa. Okay, we're finding out what works best for everybody. So what's happening, right? You may think you're in this group, or you may think you're in this group when maybe you are in this group naturally. So how do we solve this? How does this become more clear to people, right? Read the text, see what characters you align with, right? Read the Quran, read the Bible, see what characters you align with, right? We can put ourselves in the shoes of many, many people. Like we said, we've been here before. It's not so hard, impossible to figure out. And also do some like past life regression work, anything you feel drawn to, right? It's three archetypes, three main archetypes. It's not so impossible. It's not like each person has one of the 12 astrological signs as we do, right? As we focus on so heavily. There's three archetypes. So it should be easy, think about the attributes that we talked about, the qualities of each grouping, and think about, how it aligns with you and such, right? Do some past life regression, because again, if you've had past lives with a grouping, you're likely still with that grouping. Okay, it worked out well for you if you're happy, right? If you're happy, if you're succeeding, right? It likely is the case. And go with your gut too. Go with your gut. Go with what you feel. Go with what feels good for you. Like I said, this is where a lot of the gut is right now. So that's why I'm coming on here and I'm talking to you about this large group of wisdom, right? The large group of wisdom here, they're very adverse to religion most of the time. Okay, like I said, there are a select group of people that are in this wisdom truly that are not adverse to religion. Okay, but there's some leaders, right, that are, which is okay. Like it can go either way. You don't have to be religious to be in this group. You don't even have to be religious in this group or this group. Okay, it's not necessarily a matter of religion, but if you do understand religion, you'll be able to get a very clear conception of what's happening here, what's happening here. And when we're talking about tethering, remember tethering to our higher selves, that's what needs to happen. So a lot of you did that, right? And this is kind of where we fell in terms of self evaluation. But it's okay. We're going to migrate over to this here. Okay. Come join the Ummah. Come join the Ummah. I need help. Okay, God bless you guys. I'm gonna stop right here. I'm gonna stop right here. I'm gonna stop rambling. I love you so much. I'll talk to you later. Bye.